Let's go. Let's go, Laker family. Welcome to the Showtime Forum Post Game Report. And it's been a long time coming 3,016 days since the last time we won a playoff game. And tonight, we did it. We did it. We did it, man. I get so excited to do games like this, but never in my life have I ever been this excited because it's always been regular season. And now we're talking about the playoffs. And boy, did we bounce back on this game. And really, to be honest with you, it really had everything to do with defense. I know we're going to talk about Anthony Davis in a minute, but boy, it had everything to do with defense. And really, a lot of us are going to sleep well tonight, man. We're going to sleep well tonight because, listen, they did what we needed them to do. It wasn't the prettiest of games, but it was a game that we needed. And there's so much stuff we got to get into tonight. I can't wait. And listen, tonight, I'm going to be very centered in on your comments today. You guys are gonna. This is a win that we all need to celebrate. This is not just evening up the series 1-1. This is literally. Oh, my boy Chaz is in here. It's literally all about how long we had to wait for a night like tonight, August 20th, 2020. We're officially back to winning playoff games, and so much to talk about tonight. Of course, we're going to get into it, but let me bring my boy Chaz in. I think Chaz is ready because let me see. Hold on, let me get him in here real quick because I see my man in this Lakers jersey and he ready to go. Hold on, let me get him in here real quick. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, Chaz, my man, good to see you, brother.
What it do, man? What it do?
I see you in
Laker
your.
Nation.
I should have brought mine out tonight. It's sitting in the closet right here. I'm gonna save it though. I'm gonna save it for the conference finals for me. Man, tonight was a night. Tonight was a night.
Laker Nation.
Laker Nation.
Laker
111,
Nation.
111 to 88, essentially coming back and making a statement against the Blazers. And tonight they really did it with defense, man. Tell me, for you, what was the turning point of this game when you knew that it was going to be a wrap?
Oh, once I saw AD taking it inside to Nurkic and not settling for the fadeaway jumpers. Now he did have two early on in the first quarter where he had, two elbow jumpers where he's fading away, and Nurkic had played some good defense on him. But once AD, kept taking it to him on the inside and was getting a few offensive rebounds and really getting going in transition as well, and just working hard in general. And getting 50-50 balls. Once I saw that and his effort, I knew everything was just going to follow from there.
Bro, and talking about that, he dominated tonight. 31 points, 11 rebounds, and did it in less than 30 minutes. And I want to say, man, we've talked about his struggles, with shooting from the three, but really it felt like it was much more about his aggressiveness tonight.
Oh,
And in a
yeah.
night where, obviously LeBron wasn't the normal LeBron, played 27 minutes, had 10 points. He didn't really have a triple double or a double double for that matter. He just kind of was in the game, kind of almost playing like a decoy in a sense. He affected the offense, obviously, by being on the court. But Anthony Davis
Oh,
did his thing tonight. Now, here's my question for you before we hop into these comments. Do you believe that Anthony Davis can sustain this through the rest of the series, let alone the rest of the playoffs?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about aggression, and it's all about Vogel utilizing matchups the right way and making sure that he puts them in the right position. Because ultimately, the players are going to do what they're going to do, but on the court, you have to make sure that you're putting your best players in the best positions to do what they're best at. So Vogel was able to do that a little bit more. He took LeBron out earlier, leaving AD in with a few different role players as well. So props to him. Vogel did not get out coached this time like he did last time. That's for sure.
which is encouraging to hear, especially on a night like tonight where a lot of unpredictable things happen. I don't think anybody would have expected coming in to game two after a game one loss, seeing KCP go for 16 and being efficient from behind the three, watching AD be aggressive after everybody calls him soft, see LeBron really just kind of take a back seat and just, it looked like he was just enjoying the scenery. And
Oh yeah.
then you get into the garbage time, and you finally see Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith, and J.R. got it going a little bit, scoring 11 points tonight, even though he had 4 turnovers in the minute, limited amount of minutes that he played. But it was still good to see. It felt like they were getting back to fun basketball, and it started on the defensive end. Tonight there was a huge emphasis, especially with the Trailblazers. This was probably one of their worst games. And just real quick, Chaz had to disappear for a minute. Real quick, shout out to Dame Lillard, and hoping that his ring finger, or his index finger, I'm sorry, is okay. Visibly frustrated, and I know this is wartime. We're in playoffs, but he has been an absolute pleasure to watch just as a basketball fan, and he made this series really, really fun, and really hoping he's okay. Let's get to the comments real quick. Anakat Mohan, let's go. What a win! What a defensive performance! Absolutely. Angel Rodriguez finally played JR in that first half. Yeah, and listen, it was good to see Jr. get his rhythm even in garbage time. It felt very much like he was attempting. In the first half he was trying to get his legs, but it felt like towards the end where there was no pressure to have to score any of that stuff. He really was his normal Jr. self, and it was good to see that. 24 Petty, good to see my cousin. This is the team I've been waiting for since March, cousin. Yeah, this is the one we've been trying to see. This is the one that was on a roll going into this. This was the one that had all the momentum, had beat the Bucks, had beat the Clippers, and this is what I want to also make very, very clear, that there was a lot of talk about this is not the typical 8 seed. Of course, Charles Barkley was saying craziness like the Lakers are going to get swept, and stuff like that. And so there was plenty of conversation around the Blazers being a tougher matchup than most teams that you would have seen in the playoffs. And so when you get a win like this, you can't diminish it. Not even with Dame Lillard's injury, because that really was happening towards the end of the blowout, really. And so what you saw tonight was vintage, classic lockdown defense, and then of course the main part where the Lakers were hitting their shots. Let me bring Chaz back in here, now that I got my boy back in, so we can get some more commentary. And I definitely want to get back to your comments. James Michael off of Periscope. I guess Vogel's job is safe for now. Fans just need to be patient. Yeah, Vogel ain't getting fired this year or next year. But it was like Chad said, it was good to see him making the adjustments and not being out coached by Terry Stotts. And honestly, the Blazers really aren't built to win this series. If they were to win this series, it would be much more because the Lakers lost than the Blazers won. And in a situation like that,
Absolutely.
it does come back to the coach, right? In a
Yeah.
situation where you're built to win and you don't win, that comes back to the coach. I don't care how many points Damian scores. It shouldn't matter in the matter of roster, especially with Zach Collins, who's still out, and things like that. So, on Angel Rodriguez on YouTube says, "Thank goodness we didn't play waiters."
Waiters played. Waiters played. What
15
do you
minutes
have? About
tonight.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
4 points. I mean, he was a +2. I mean, I'm not too mad at Vogel. He got everybody in. He got everybody a look. Pretty much almost everybody scored except for Jared Dudley, who only took 1 or 2 shots
Yeah.
in the 8 minutes that he played towards the end of the game. But I can't say it enough. AD set the tone.
Yeah.
LeBron didn't even set the tone tonight. LeBron, for whatever reason, was missing, bunnies and turning the ball over. I believe he had at least about 4 turnovers in tonight's game. I think all in the
He
first
had
half as
6.
well.
He
6
had
actually.
six
Okay,
turnovers. Yeah.
I was being generous there. So yeah, he just didn't really have it tonight. And obviously, you're going to have those games like Paul George as well, like he had last night against the Mavericks, but a little bit different when you actually win the game and you have a second star that's going to put up 31 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block. I mean, AD set the tone, and I just love the fact that the energy from Danny Green, who didn't, particularly shoot well, only had 1 3 and was 1 for 6. So obviously his shooting woes continue. but KCP stepped up. He hurt us, y'all. He shot 4 from 6 from 3-point range, was a plus 24, had 16 points, and really brought the energy on the perimeter on the defensive end. So, man, this team's going to be scary when Rondo gets back. Just to have an extra guard in the rotation, especially if they continue to bring the same energy that they brought tonight. So I couldn't be happier, and even happier that we won. We got AD some rest, who tweaked his ankle on the back stand of the court in the third quarter, I believe. And getting LeBron some extra rest whenever we can is always good, regardless of if he's only scoring 10 points or not. So double win for us tonight to not only actually get the win, but also get some rest at the same time.
And we talked about this all season. We talked about the ideal situation is you play a game well enough that your stars can sit towards the fourth quarter. And LeBron really didn't have to do much, and him and Anthony Davis are joking on the sideline. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the image you want to see in a 1-8 playoff series, right?
Right.
You're probably not going to see this if we play the Clippers or even the Rockets. I'm anticipating Rockets are going to get into the next round. So you're not going to see that. This is the time to really get them the rest, get the reps going, get the confidence of your bench players up, get the momentum going, finding film, tweaking things, and then you're stepping into battle in the next round. So hopefully that'll be the case. Donovan Bryant 8 on Periscope says Blazers looked lost.
They did. They had no answer for the zone type defense that Vogel was implementing on the perimeter, regardless of who was on the perimeter. It could have been Gary Trent. It could have been Dame Lillard. It could have been CJ. It could have even been Melo. He was having a double on the perimeter and making them move the ball to the center and funneling the ball down to Whiteside or to the corner 3 where we had somebody rotating and closing out hard, or AD, JaVale, and Dwight being funneled, to those big guys for defensive blocks and shot alterings as well. So I was really happy with the overall scheme that Vogel came up with and the execution of the players, because after losing a game, as we've seen all year long, except for that 4-game win streak, once the Lakers lose a game, their focus and their mentality comes back to what they should be, and they generally do respond. And it was good to see not only the Lakers but also the Bucks as well. Another number one seed that struggled in the first game, and they both came back strong today. But obviously, it's all about our Lakers. But I think we're going to be on a collision course with that team as well.
It looks like it, man. It looks like it. And even go further with Danny Green, a lot of conversation about his point production. But tonight, once again, going with the defense, he had 4 steals tonight, which is crazy. He had more steals than he had points. And I know some people will say we don't like that, but that's a crucial thing. That means his hands are active. He's doing things.
He played great defense tonight. He was a plus 21.
Defense. Yep, plus 21, only had 3 personal fouls. And Danny Green is liable to have a bunch of fouls. Angel Rodriguez says Davis dominated. Yep, absolutely. We talked about that. Anakat Mohan said Lakers sent Lillard to prison. Man, listen, Lillard had a struggle. Of course, he's going to score. He had 18 points tonight. He had in the first half. He was getting it going a little bit. He was finding that high screen off of Nurkic and coming around that curl on the 3-point line, and he was trying to get it going.
Oh man, he was getting it going in that first quarter.
Yep.
But that second quarter, we clamped down.
Absolutely.
And they only scored 19 points in that first quarter.
Yeah, and what's crazy is Dame Lillard is a threat from anywhere really beyond the half court line. He was 1 of 7 from 3-point land tonight. And we really don't know what it's going to look like for Game 3 or Game 4 in regards to him, and hoping he's okay. But if they don't have Lillard, it's going to be very, very important for the Lakers not to take their foot off of the gas, right? So because the truth is that if you take your foot off the gas and let CJ get hot, let Nurkic get hot, then you're all you're doing is you're spreading the problem to different areas, and you really want to just take advantage of this time if you can, and make sure get those stars and runs.
It's in his offhand though, right? I believe it's his left hand when he was reaching around Anthony Davis, and when Anthony Davis's foot came up, it actually kicked him in his finger and dislocated it. So I think there's no way that Dame misses any games in this series. He knows that he has to play in order for them to even have a chance, a snowball's chance, especially when the Lakers are shooting average. It's not like we shot great. We shot average, which was 37% from the 3-point line tonight. So look what happens when the Lakers shoot average and play some good defense. let
and
alone
shooting
shoot well.
90% from the free throw line. I'm gonna keep going back to that.
Yes. Yes.
The charity stripe, and
Yes.
we only had it was only 9 or 10, right? So we honestly we didn't have a lot of looks at the free throw line, but when we got there, we made the most of it, and that's what
Right.
matters to me.
Right. Nobody played more than 30 minutes tonight either. So the off day tomorrow should be good, and we should be ready to go come Saturday to take full control of the series and march on to Lakers in 5, like I said before the
Yeah,
series started.
yeah, and that's a look. And so for all the people yesterday, and I just want to go back to this, and Chad, you missed it. But there was the
I did.
conversation in the chat was it was very much a vent session, which this is what we're here for. The post game is for us to vent and celebrate, given whatever circumstance or result the Lakers give us against their opponent. But there were so many people calling for KCP's head, calling for Frank Vogel's head, calling for a lot of stuff. Now we did see some things, some adjustments with JR coming back in. There were a lot of people talking about that. Even Kendrick Perkins was like, Vogel, play J.R. Smith, get your shooters in there. But the truth is that last game was not indicative of how the Lakers were intending to play the entire series. It was good to
No.
see them wake up today, like you said, also with the Bucks. And even for us, even with Bron having an off game, he's not going to be like Paul George with an ice pack on his shoulder. You know what I mean? Going off on people because he played bad. He's basically going to. I promise you, if you watch his post game, he's going to say something about we were just happy Anthony Davis got going. He's going to praise his teammates, and it is going to be what it's going to be. Anakat Mohan says, I'm sorry, Showtime Forum. This is our boy Jay Watt. He said,
Jay
playoff
Watt
Bron. Yep. Who also did halftime today. If you guys didn't catch that during
was really good.
halftime, Instagram Live. Check us on the Showtime Forum Instagram. But he says playoff Bron hasn't arrived yet. Now let me ask you this question, because we as Laker fans have not seen this playoff Bron since he's been a Laker.
Not in a
What
Laker
can
uniform.
Not a Laker uniform? What would you consider a peak playoff Bron performance?
33 points, 17 assists, 12 rebounds. I mean, the guy, he really does do it. He does it all. He can average a triple double, a 30-point triple double if he really wanted to. That's really playoff Bron. When he's finals Bron is really the best player that I've probably ever seen with my own two eyes outside of Kobe Bryant. So I'm interested to see when he is going to take it up to that notch, to that level. Obviously, for some reason, it's just not there yet. I think he's trying to lock in. To be honest with you, if I'm just being my gut telling me, he's going to play so much better in the second round and the Western Conference Finals and the finals when his family gets there. Once he has his kids, I think for him personally, I think other guys may play better as well, like Russell Westbrook or even James Harden or whoever else, Anthony Davis as well, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, whoever. But especially LeBron, he's going to play much better, I believe, once he has his lady next to him and his James gang together. So I know that takes a toll on him, and just for mental capabilities and things of that nature, I think he's going to play much better and be a little bit more locked in. Not to say that he's not right now, but he knows that he would tell you he could play better and make better decisions as well. So having his family around might help with that.
I didn't even think about that. I actually forgot that the family shows up, and that is going to make a true difference for someone like him who's so family oriented, and values community for his refreshment after doing his job. That's going to
Right.
be great for him. Blake St. Clair says it was over by a halftime. Anakat Mohan said it was a scrimmage in the second half. And yes, but we've seen teams come back from 24-point deficits, things like that. So I saw a lot of commentary about, man, take Bron out, take AD out, yada, yada. And I know AD came out eventually, but the idea, what I did like seeing was we were up by 30, but it didn't feel like they were taking their foot off the gas.
Right. So I live tweeted tonight on the Showtime Forum Twitter page tonight. So I tweeted out right before the third quarter started that if the Lakers could keep up the defensive end and the defensive urgency and intensity on that side of the ball, then they could really break open the game and possibly rest in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what they did. Vogel and LeBron and Anthony Davis all must have been on the same page because that's exactly what they did when they came out. And AD was able to rest the entire fourth quarter, and LeBron, I think, rested probably 10 of the 12 minutes of the fourth quarter as well. So, like I said, again, couldn't be happier with that.
I love it. I love it, man. And somebody said, well, let me get to this real quick. Donovan Bryant said, apparently we set a franchise record for threes. Tonight, looks like we had 14 threes tonight, 14 of 38, shooting 37% essentially.
We've
Um,
never hit 14 threes in a playoff game. Yeah, that's true. That's probably true.
yeah, because especially when Kobe was here, we really were playing inside out for the most
Yeah,
part. It was more mid range more than anything, which is crazy to think that 14, because the Rockets are probably going to do like 17, 18, 19, or 20. But
man,
what's
they took
good is
like
that,
55 threes tonight
oh
earlier
my God, man.
against OKC.
And once again, if this defense shows up, I agree with Annika Mohan. She says she says that if this team, when the Lakers turn it on, no team can stop them. And I truly believe that, man. If the Lakers turn on their defense and the shots are falling, I just don't know what team. Maybe the Bucks, who can match up with size, length, and of course they have shooters as well. So it maybe in that realm, but there's really
Bron said
nobody who
it.
can.
Bron said it best. We just built different, and he's right. We could do multiple things. Portland, even if they try, they couldn't play half as good defense as we possibly can when we try. So we came out
Yeah,
with the urgency on the defensive end, and that's what led to all the easy transition buckets, which led to all of the open threes that we're already having, right? We already have a lot of open threes as is, but KCP getting into a rhythm, Caruso finally making an open three, KCP saw, I'm sorry, Kuz saucing up Nurkic on the in and out with his three in the beginning of the first half. So,
hmm
I mean, the jumper was going. AD hit at least I think 3 threes in the third quarter, and that's
hmm
what broke open the game. And we were just on and cruising from there. So, I mean, the guys really support each other, and we have strong leadership at the top.
yeah,
And I'm excited now because I know every time we're going to get punched in the mouth, because that's what the playoffs is. You're going to get punched in the mouth at least a few times. It's all
yeah,
about how you respond. And right out the bat, first game of the playoffs, got punched in the mouth. Boom. Still could have won that game. So easily could be up 2-0 if we would have just at least, I don't know, made 2 or 3 more threes, or maybe not missed as many free throws as we did in the first game. But we responded in the right way. And now I know that this team is going to have the fight and the urgency that they need in order to get through whatever it is, because we still got Houston after this if they win. I think the Houston Rockets are going to beat OKC, and obviously it's a very good chance that we meet the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. And then after that, you still got Giannis or Toronto or even Boston, who's playing great.
yeah,
So you're gonna get punched in the mouth a few times. So got to
yeah.
respond the right way, and we did that tonight.
And every game uh, builds more momentum and getting back into that rhythm that we had back in March. So it's good to see that. Um, AD is having a good game when he's aggressive early on. That's how he should have started games. About time he dominates every game on a Mohan from YouTube. And we talked about that. I mean, it's just how AD comes out. It's going to set the tone. I loved watching the players tonight, not just AD being aggressive, but watching players pick up full court. It was like watching a full team of Avery Bradleys. And of course, it wasn't even so much as so to try to steal or create too much pressure, but it was to disrupt the system. It was to show intensity, to get the tone defensively set, and it carried over the entire
I,
game, which is what I love.
that Gary Trent Jr. picking up LeBron 94 feet to start the game, I'm sure that contributed to some of the turnovers that LeBron had, and LeBron
Yeah,
missing those easy layups. I got to give credit where credit is due. Obviously, that threw LeBron out because he wasn't expecting that, and as a result, just made a few more careless mistakes, and will definitely handle the ball better next game. But that definitely
yeah,
factored in for sure.
yeah, yeah. And once again, man, like Braun is a downhill, full head of steam player. Once he gets going to the rack, it's pretty impossible to stop him. So the weakness or the defensive scheme that most teams are going to have when it comes to LeBron is trap him early, pick him up 94 feet. This is the thing. Like this is like this is the what Patrick Beverleys do. This is the thing that kind of they're annoying, which throws the rhythm off, especially for a high IQ basketball player like LeBron, who's thinking
Right.
3 and 4 plays ahead, trying to figure out the court. You come and disrupt that moment. That's normally where turnovers happen. But what's good is you have Anthony Davis, and he can anchor
Man,
you down when
so
they're
happy
going
we have
crazy.
him, man. I mean, he
Grateful.
had 20. He played great. statistically, numbers wise, but in terms of his overall attitude, his aggression just wasn't there. And tonight it was. And if Anthony Davis plays with that aggression for the rest of the playoffs, and we get playoff Bron like we're supposed to, see, LeBron hasn't even really turned it all the way up yet. He'll be there. Like I said, when he gets his family back, watch, he's going to play a lot better. But if Anthony Davis continues to play like he played tonight, I mean, as you can see, LeBron only had 10 points and still beat him by 25, 23?
Really should have been more than 30. It was just garbage time towards the end.
I think it was
But
33.
yeah. I don't know how to do math. 111 to 88. Somebody put the math in the chat.
That's 33, bro.
Yes, and somebody mentioned James Michael on Periscope said King James was frustrated there, and the team got his back. He then gave dagger assists in the third quarter, and so the frustration was visible.
Yeah, Dame says he's going to play Game 3.
Even though he
dislocated his finger, I would expect him to play Game 3. So that doesn't surprise me at all, especially with it being not his shooting hand, his offhand. So I would expect that, but let's see if CJ maybe steps up or if Nurkic steps up on the offensive end. You know, there's going to be a lot of or Melo even possibly stepping up. Gary Trent Jr. I mean, they have some firepower, but on the defensive end, that's where we really have the separation overall because they can't play even, like I said, remotely the type of defense that we could possibly play. So that should be the difference, and hopefully that's the case on the next game.
Yep. Al Sanchez Davis made the difference with offensive rebounds tonight. Tonight he had 11 rebounds in total, but he had 3 offensive rebounds, and they were key. Offensive rebounds are always going to be key because it gives you second chance points, and second chance points are so deflating to a team that has a high offensive efficiency rating as the Blazers, because they get out in transition, they get going, it gets Dame going, but when you stop the break by getting that rebound, it really kind of just breaks the flow for them. So yeah, those were crucial, even though he only had 3 tonight. Anakat says refs called less fouls this game and let the game flow. Yeah, and it made a difference, man. There was only between both teams 26 foul shots per shot. That's it, just 26 foul shots.
That's great.
So that's incredible. And I would rather us only shoot 10 free throws in a game like that, knowing that the refs are giving the space to go at it. And we said this: if the Lakers get into the playoffs, it's going to be tough to defend them because the refs are going to swallow the whistle, and it gives bigs like JaVale. Listen,
too much size.
He's always in foul trouble. Tonight, only had
props
2
to JaVale.
Fouls. Yeah,
props to JaVale tonight. Let's give him a round of applause for keeping his mental right and playing good. He only played 13 minutes tonight, but he was a plus 15, had 10 points, 5 offensive rebounds just by himself, 8 total rebounds, and even dropped 3 assists as well. So even though he hasn't been playing great this entire bubble and obviously didn't have a great first game of the series or the playoffs as well, stayed mentally there because he's a champion, a 2-time champion at that, and experience, and played well tonight and had some really good key buckets to start the game. So proved us wrong, proved a lot of us wrong, because I was definitely one of those guys saying, take JaVale out of the starting lineup, insert Kuz, move AD to the 5, and let's keep it rolling. So props to JaVale.
He did his thing tonight, man. Blake St. Clair, who I love Blake, man. You're gonna get me and Blake have the greatest discussions in this chat. But he said maybe a downer, but LeBron didn't look right. Seemed to favor his right leg a bit. I didn't necessarily see the right leg.
I didn't see the right leg thing. It could be, but I'm telling you, wait till Savannah get there. Wait till Zuri and Bronny and Zuri get there. Yeah,
about to be on one, man. I'm just saying, like, as a dad, man, I'm just being honest, man. Like, there have been times where my wife and I have had to go on the road for a couple of weeks, and I'm telling you, it does affect your mental. It's just your world is shaking, man. And LeBron is so close to his kids that, you know, and his wife. Let me just make sure I say that. And his wife. And he mentioned something in his interview with Chris Haynes where, of course, Chris Haynes comes back to him and is like, man, you got to talk to us about that comment that you made about stuff you can't control and things ain't right. And Bron said, it's nothing to do with the team. He goes, this has nothing to do with the team, which lets you know that there's something that's a disconnect on the personal life side.
Yeah, look, man, when you haven't seen your wife You married, I'm not. But imagine not being able to see your wife. How long has it been? They've been in the bubble since July 9th. It has
Dog.
been a month and 11 days. So that's like pretty much almost 6 weeks that you haven't seen your wife or your kids or your mom.
Bro, bro,
So
bro,
in his
bro.
case,
My wife left the house at 5:30 today to go sing somewhere. She just got home 10 minutes ago. I can't wait to get off this live.
that's
She was, I can't wait. I'm just letting you know right now, man. I just want to let you know right now. Okay, so Jason Jeter says this on Periscope. I want to get your idea on this. Defense has been solid the last two games, quiet as kept. Are you
it has.
seeing, since the playoffs start, are you seeing the defensive tone take place? And if that is so, is there something that we can do to increase the defense or improve the defense for later rounds?
Um, if they play like how they played tonight, now I don't expect Portland to shoot 21% from three either. Just like how we only shot 5 from 32. The
Yeah,
law of averages is they're going to come back and make more threes. But I do like the scheme of Vogel and what he's implemented. Maybe the scheme was the same from this game to last game, but it looks like the Lakers were coming out a little bit higher on the 3-point line to do those traps, and it wasn't just Dame that was getting trapped. It was CJ and Melo and Gary Trent Jr. as well that were getting trapped. So the execution was just much better from the players and the urgency as well as the focus. So the defense quiet as kept has been our rock even throughout the bubble, even though we gave up, a lot of points to Houston, and didn't have a great game against Indiana as well. But overall, defense has been what we hang our hat on. And thank God Anthony Davis is the man. That block on Dame was key. That gave us a lot of momentum in the first half. So
I love it.
defense has been great, and hopefully they continue to do that and just shoot average. We're not asking for 45, 50% from three. Just shoot 35. Just not 18 or 20, please.
God, please no. Please let that be the last time. Let that be in that
That's
Sports
it.
Illustrated video they sell when we win the championship. Let that game be the game where they're like, and they had the worst game they could possibly have, and it never came back again. Um,
Right.
Jason Jeter says, should Jr. play more than Dion?
Um, Depends on the matchup. Depends on who's got it going.
Okay.
I like the time that JR was put in because it wasn't offense that we needed. We needed another guard, like a larger guard for defensive purposes, but somebody that was also going to knock down a shot. Obviously, JR didn't really knock down shots until the second half, but I did like the timing of putting JR in. And I think Dion is really going to find his way in the next game because now Vogel knows, okay, I can play these guys, I can put them in different spots, and I think consistently they'll be a part of the rotation. But I just don't think that the time that Vogel had the first time, he didn't have the trust all the way for the playoffs to play those guys. So
Yeah.
he got a lead. He was able to put those guys in, implement them, and really see what they were about, and got some good production. Not some great production, but good production overall, and some stuff that'll carry over to the next game and something to build on as well for those guys.
I love it. I love it. Will Rondo, this is from Maddox McLeod in Periscope, and I'm going to fly through some of these comments, but will Rondo's impact be even better for this team?
Yes. Next
Yeah.
question.
Yes, as an offensive facilitator, yes. Um, Jason Jeter, Laker fans are savage. We hold the squad to a high standard. Y'all definitely did that because y'all were ready to crucify my man like it
He was
was
0
Easter
for
Sunday.
9. KCP
He,
was 0 for 9.
he was.
He
He
he be
was.
hearing us though. He be hearing us.
And it wakes him up every time, man. It wakes him up every time. Jason Jeter, Javi says, let's go. Um, Showtime Forum, Jay Watt says, spirit bombs for KCP. Absolutely. Throw it in his Instagram. Maddox McLeod, I already answered that. Our Bigs played well today. JaVale finally stopped vlogging. Is that true? Is he not vlogging right now?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I haven't watched any of them. But I do watch backstage Lakers as well, and I do think that he is still vlogging. But either way, he played great tonight. Dwight has
Yeah.
been solid. Dwight has been solid in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Man, got to remember, even though he doesn't have a ring, he does have championship and a lot of playoff experience as well. So Dwight has been huge for us on the inside. I think he was a plus. Dwight Howard was actually he was -7, but he had 9 points, 5 rebounds, and a block. So played
Mm,
well off the bench. He only played 19 minutes, probably only 12 key minutes because those other 7 minutes were part of the fourth quarter that he used to finish off the game. So Dwight's
yeah.
been pretty key. Happy with him.
I'm noticing some comments. Once again, it wouldn't be a post game show unless Danny Green became the focal point. Still can't buy a shot. 3 points in 22 minutes. 1 of 6 for field goals. What? Even with him
He
getting
was a
4 steals
plus
tonight.
21. So for those of you that know basketball, he was a plus 21 and only had 3 points, shot 1 of 6 and only 1 of 4 from the 3-point line in 22 minutes. How are you a plus 21 if you're not scoring the ball? Oh, I don't know. You're playing defense. Even though he only had, 2 rebounds in the entire game and 2 assists,
Four
one
steals though.
assist, he had 4 steals. He was getting in front of guys like CJ and Dane and Trent, making sure that guys weren't in position to do what they needed to do. Part of the
Yeah.
reason why the Blazers only shot 21% from the 3-point line. Obviously, they're missing, but obviously at the same time, Danny Green is really the only strong perimeter defender that we have outside of LeBron. KCP does well, but it's going to be Danny Green that, with Avery Bradley not being there, that's going to be the strong lead guy on the perimeter. So he was still a plus 21.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not
We didn't
even mad.
obviously we didn't need to score. Now, in a game that we need scoring, there is going to be a game where we need some points, and Danny Green's going to use that playoff experience and make a few threes. So I'm not worried about him.
It's in his pedigree, man. It's in his pedigree. I'm skipping through some of these comments, but I got to stop for this one. Blake St. Clair says trade KCP 1-on-1 for Durant. 1-for-1 with Durant. Ain't gonna happen, obviously.
I
That's
wish.
funny. Yeah,
I
I
wish.
know. That
Wouldn't even be fair at that point.
I'm gonna be honest. David Stern might get out of the grave and veto that one.
Big.
No joke. There's no way in the world
Out of
he
the
let him.
grave.
Yeah, there's no way.
R.I.P. David Stern.
My boy Jason Jenkins, my brother Bron had 10 points. Let that sink in. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how else to say it, man. Al
because
Sanchez from
AD
Periscope.
had 31. He gave you 30 plus. So,
What
and
you
then
gonna do with
KCP
that?
had 16. Kyle Kuzma had a cool 7. J.R. Smith had 11 points. So
Bro,
scoring
JR
wasn't the issue.
he was stroking he was stroking in garbage time, bro.
He was. So got to play good defense, and that's what it is. Defense wins championships. We play good
Yeah.
defense, continue to do that, and we'll be just fine rolling all the way to the finals. Let's keep it rolling.
Now, Al Sanchez says something in Periscope that's so important, and this has nothing to do with statistics or anything, but I've been doing the live show for a while, and before me it was Greg Bergman, who obviously had way more clout. But he said, Al Sanchez says, it's funny how many people show for this scope when the Lakers lose. And I want to just say this, because the last game, you guys don't know this, but behind the scenes, analytically, the game 1 loss, that was the highest viewed post-game show, even going into Greg Bergman days when he was doing stuff in the ESPN studios. So you're right. It's very funny how
It's the first time we had playoffs in 7 years. Guys were mad. I understand it. I was mad. It's actually a blessing that my power went out here in LA and that I wasn't able to be on the post-game show because I didn't have anything good to say about anyone. So I feel you guys.
I was trying to be the balance in the room, but it was a good vent session. Kira Gardner, LMAO, 33 and 17. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I think Chaz made a great point regarding LeBron's family getting there and him playing better. Absolutely. We can't stress that part enough. The family's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. Huge difference.
Edmund from Periscope says, threes look less forced despite Blazers' strategy of trying to push us that way. Glad we imposed our will.
Just shooting in rhythm. In rhythm and just letting it fly and not hesitating.
Yep.
If Danny Green can get like KCP, we might be a little bit more all right. So let's see.
Listen.
Didn't think I was going to have to say it.
It's crazy to even say that, and we don't know what's going to happen in the next game. Obviously, there's going to be some changes from Terry Stotts in, but if the guys can get consistent, it'd be crazy. Jay Watt says this. He says, tonight's 10 points was the fewest LeBron has had in a playoff win in his career. So I'm assuming he's probably had that many in a playoff loss, but Never in a playoff win has he had that. But you know why? Because he's never had a player like Anthony Davis. He's had
That
Kyrie, right?
Anthony Davis averages the most points that a LeBron teammate he's ever had at 26 points, like we saw on the ESPN broadcast. If you watch that, so
And that has
Dwayne Wade was second, Kyrie was third.
and neither Wade or Kyrie played defense like
No,
AD. So you're talking
man,
about defensive play. And Doris Burke said something that was really crazy today that I didn't necessarily agree with. She voted for Giannis to be Defensive Player of the Year over Anthony Davis, which I know statistically I can see part of that argument, but when you watch AD play, I just don't know how you can watch him do what he does and think that anybody is going to be defensive player of the year over him. He's an absolute monster, man. Um, Leonard Buchanan says perfect complete game. How far was this from a complete game?
man, this was only like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
We've seen how the Lakers could really play. There's a reason why we're the number one seed. There's a reason why we're only, I think we're a couple games out of number one overall seed in the entire league, to be honest. So when we are really clicking, we're putting up 120, 130, 140, and holding teams to under 110. I think our defensive rating is 103 or 102. So, which was top 5 in the league as well. So this was only like a 7 out of 10. We didn't even really score the ball that well. We didn't really
yeah,
shoot. We shot average. We didn't shoot great.
yeah,
Our defense is what won us this game, and in part, Portland was just making key mistakes.
yeah,
I don't really know what to say about those guys, but at the same time, I know our defense stepped up, and if our defense can step up with our offense, and LeBron's going to give us 33 and 17, or maybe not 17, 33, 12 and 9, and AD give us 31 and 12 and 3, you're going to see a lot of wins by the Lakers. So it's all about putting it all together. It
yeah.
was only a 7 out of 10 performance from the Lakers tonight, in my opinion.
And to be honest with you, because we have been shooting so poorly in the bubble, even average looked elite to us because we have been seeing them shoot so abysmal that
28%, 15%.
sub 70% from the free throw line. Like just watching them get to the other half of that, it just shows you that if they ever just decide to put things together, it's a wrap, man. It's an absolute wrap. I'm gonna run through these because we're actually running out of time here.
Okay.
Um,
Rapid fire,
lots of
rapid fire.
lots of questions, lots of comments about the defense, but I've seen this comment twice already. I wish this game was on TNT. I want to hear what Charles says. I'm just going
I
to say
want
this.
to hear Chuck too, but we'll get him. Man, I don't think we're going to get another game from Chuck until maybe Mamba game on Monday, if that. So we're going to have to wait a little bit. But maybe by then, like I said, Lakers in 5. Series might be over by the time TNT gets another Laker game, realistically. So let's step it up, guys.
I'm going to say it right now. Y'all stop listening to Charles Barkley. Y'all stop. Don't listen to him.
Stop listening.
Do not listen. That man brought the broom out the last post game. Y'all stop listening to him. Y'all stop listening to him. May 18th, 2012 was our last playoff win before tonight, 3,016 days
Man,
ago.
3,016 days. What is that? 8 years and 8 years,
So,
3 months,
yeah,
2
that's bananas.
days. Ew,
Yeah, that's
damn.
incredible to even think about. It's been that long. Here
It's
we
a long
go.
time.
We haven't looked at Twitch for a minute. Tam Marino, good to see you, my friend. Let's go. Great win tonight. Hopefully, this was the game that elevates us to where we need to be.
It will
And
be. It will
yeah,
be.
it will be. He also says Kuzma's defense has been a huge reason our D is still so good, holding his own with.
Man, you see how active he was on the perimeter. I mean, man, I'm cutting you off like crazy. Hey, but
No, talk
Kuz
about
was
that.
doing his thing, just active hands, just everywhere doing his thing, man. So even though he didn't, score the ball particularly well, he was still a plus 16. Why? Because he was active on the defensive end, taking charges, getting his hands in the passing lane, doing
Yep.
his thing.
Yeah, man. And you love to see it because you want, as much as we've talked about Kuz all season, you want him to succeed. because if he can put defense together and get, of course he only had 7 points tonight, but it wasn't necessary for him to do more. But watching his confidence on the offensive end, watching his mobility and his understanding of defensive schemes better, it's encouraging to watch, and it seems to be happening at the perfect time as we go into the playoffs. If he can really be that consistent third scorer, tonight it was KCP's night, but if he can really become like a consistent third scorer, it's going to make all the difference in the world going into the next round.
Caruso finally saw a 3-point basket go in the hoop, so hopefully that gets him going as well. Because I haven't seen a 3-pointer by Caruso since maybe the first or second game of the bubble. So let's see if it goes up.
The gods are with us. Blake St. Clair, I think a big component of the defense, especially in this shortened format, is going to be spread the minutes. For the role players, especially against a high-tempo team and player like Portland and Dames. And Blake, game fitness is a little off for some players, so just throw as much as you can at them each time up the court. I see what you're saying. And to always keep the intensity high. Yeah, so really it's about fresh legs, you know what I mean? And it's almost like a hockey setup where you're rotating people in, spreading those minutes out. And
exactly.
what makes that possible though is everybody has to be locked and keyed in going in. That defense is going to be the primary thing, and that's probably why you're seeing a little bit less of Dion Waiters than what we would like to see. It's not to say that he can't play defense, but he's offensive minded. Period.
He just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have the trust of Vogel just yet on the defensive end. So just not yet, but at least he put him in, and let's see if he can gain that trust a little bit more.
I'm making a prediction right now that Dion Waiters is going to have a breakout game that's going to cause a streak for him.
Bubble cheese.
Something's going to happen with him. He's going to do.
Aldell, send Bubble Cheese a shirt. Bubble Cheese said that he needs that. Give it to him. Send it out.
Give it to him. Can't beat LA Gear. To be honest, man, it's really crazy. If you think about it, there's no other post-game show that you know of where two of their members with Golden Knight
has their own merch. And it's fire.
That's in the
I should be wearing it. My bad, y'all. But
I literally just watched it, and it's
can'tbeatla.com. Go get it.
Next game, me and you, we're gonna make sure we're wearing our stuff. Next game.
No doubt. Saturday.
Saturday. Dwight was that's crazy. Blake St. Clair. Blake St. Clair said, we know where Chuck could put that broom. And I didn't realize this. He said Dwight was in the last playoff win too.
Yep. I thought about that. Last time we even played a playoff game, Dwight he fouled out before this last game, obviously.
Wow.
Dwight fouled out, was talking mess to Mitch Kupchak on his way out, and Kobe had to come out and sit on the bench and let everybody know that order has been restored. So, because Kobe was in the back getting his treatment, so he came out to the bench once Dwight got ejected. So, yeah, that's a long time ago, and I'm just glad we're in a different era. R.I.P. my man Kobe.
Yeah, man. Oh God! Every time we talk about it, I just think about him. Leonard Buchanan brings it. We should bring this up just in general, man, as we get ready to end the show. Rondo, game 3. Now the question is, bringing Rondo back in, obviously to this rotation, who's a facilitator, obviously can take pressure off of Bron, facilitating offense, and has been known to have active hands in the defensive end. I'm not sure how different it's going to be now for him.
Gambles, but has defensive hands.
He does. He gambles big time. Frank Vogel said that the main reason he was out tonight was because he needs to get his legs underneath him. But what do you anticipate from Rondo? Are we looking at a slow ramp up? Are you looking at him?
Yeah, like 15 minutes, something like what Dion played tonight in his first game back, just to be out there, get his legs under him, just to get in a rhythm again. And I think he's going to play great. It's going to be all hands on deck in the next round if the Lakers can make it through this round. And I obviously know that they can. It's just a matter of can you put your foot on the gas and close this out by Wednesday? Can you close this out 6 days from now so that way you could rest up?
Yep.
Because that OKC Houston series it's looking like a sweep right now, but I think OKC will come back and it might go 6 or 7. But it's very, very important that the Lakers really lock in and get the Blazers out in 5 instead of letting it linger and letting it go 6 or 7 because anything can happen in a game 7. What are they saying in the comments?
Jay Watt said, Spectrum Sportsnet opened with Tough Juice. Yeah, Karan Butler.
Yeah,
Sweeping and big game tossing the broom off the set.
that's right. Get off that set. I'm
It's
gonna watch.
it's
I'm gonna watch Sportsnet right as soon as we get off this.
as
But
soon as we get off,
yeah,
man. It's the
my
level
man
of petty I
James.
live for. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like that's what makes us the greatest fan base franchise ever, man. We just
You know
suddenly hear it.
The NBA missed us as a fan, especially in the Twitter era. This is our first playoff run in the new NBA Twitter era, so it's been fun
There
so
it is.
far, and we got a long way to go. As long as these guys strap up and take care of business.
And do what they got to do. And once again, the Lakers win tonight, 111-88. It was a game of defense. It was a game of if you want to say, it was the Laker introduction of Anthony Davis finally in game 2, the Anthony Davis that we know. And what's great about this win wasn't so much the score, but knowing that even with that score, we weren't even running on all cylinders. Missing, obviously, Avery Bradley, Rondo just getting back to the bubble, LeBron James only scoring 10 points. Plenty of other areas to get better at. And we were able to do damage tonight against the Portland Trailblazers in the bubble. And what's really great is game 3 and 4, we're not traveling to Portland. We're right back in
Nope.
that same building. Only thing that's changing is the scenery around them. It'll be the same thing. And
And,
Winston
and
Moblap said,
maybe the jersey color on Monday too.
and maybe the jersey color, game 4 Mamba colors. And I think that's a great time going into that game 4 with the potential of going up 3-1 in the series. That would be fantastic. Last thing you want to do is go down 2-1 in this next game, but I don't anticipate that happening. Winston Moblap says it like this, and we're going to keep this counter going. 15 to go. We have 15 more wins to
Let's
go
go.
before we hang another banner. Listen, man, I appreciate you guys being in the chat, Chaz. I always appreciate you jumping on and giving us all of the info that you do. Please don't forget, Showtime Forum Podcast. You want to throw out anything about the podcast, Chaz, before we get off?
Oh man, me and Chris are recording on Friday night, so you'll have another episode coming out on Saturday before the game 3 that'll be played at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. So we got a podcast coming, and then obviously we're doing live shows after every Laker game, win or lose. And yeah, and keep it going. Oh, and the halftime show from Jonathan Watson of Showtime Forum on the Showtime Forum IG. I believe that's going on all playoff long. And go get your merch from Golden Knight and Aldell. I can't beat LA.com.
Yep.
I'm gonna make sure I rock something special for you guys on Saturday too, by the way. So,
and I'll make sure I have a link in here on the next show so you guys can be able to just see where to go. Al Sanchez says, "Thanks, Chaz." No, you can't see him, but he says, "Thanks, man." It says,
no
"Thanks to
doubt.
me as well." We say, "Thank you guys for tuning in." Anakat Mohan says, "Game 4 on that Monday game is going to be on TNT, so I can't wait to see the commentary. That's going to be good."
Very important that we go up 3-1. We got to win these next 2 games so that way we can really stick it to Chuck next time we see him on TNT. So appreciate y'all, and we'll see y'all on Saturday.
Yeah, once again, guys, we're going to see you guys Saturday directly after the game. Make sure you guys support the Showtime Forum podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and any other place you can find it. Of course, Anchor FM. And of course, you can follow us on all of the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and our favorite place, Twitter. And if we don't see you guys again, just remember that this is the first win of the next 15 to go. Championship number 17 on the way. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful night.